I mean, as long as you are working hard, I think that greatness will happen. Greatness is inevitable. What's up, everybody? It's Jack Flynn here, and this is the Pure World Podcast. On today's episode, we are going to go through a couple questions that you guys have actually submitted, and let's just get right into it. It's basically the format is getting to know the Pure World founder, Jack Flynn, and that's me. So, first question is, tell us about Pure World. This is a pretty open-ended question. Pure World was started as a class project, believe it or not. And back when I started it, I was running it with a bunch of other classmates, and I definitely didn't think that it was going to become the company that it is today. Pure World is a sustainable merchandise company, and that's our root. And our primary products are handcrafted in Nepal using organic hemp, but our products don't stop there, and we don't want to stop there. We want to provide other really awesome products from all over the world from makers who are really awesome people. And we also want to support travel. And so that is something that we definitely think a lot about. And originally when I started the business, in my first couple years, I really thought that it was going to actually become more of a software company. And so definitely have those ambitions someday to build out software to help people travel better. But right now, we are selling really awesome, sustainably sourced adventure gear. All right, next question. Tell us about your job. I am technically the CEO of Pure World, and what that means is CEO stands for Chief Executive Officer. And so, I mean, I think different CEOs do different things, and it really depends on what the team underneath the CEO is doing, and that determines what the CEO actually needs to do on a day-to-day basis. But for me, I spend a lot of time just checking to make sure that the whole organization is running smoothly. I try to spend time checking in with all of the team members. We have team members all across the world, including in the Philippines. Of course, our manufacturers are in Nepal, and we have our fulfillment partners out in Virginia. And so it's a lot of just touching bases with everybody to make sure all the operations are running smoothly. I also occasionally would do some customer service here and there, check the email, make sure things are going well. Also, I'll dabble a little bit with our influencers and our affiliates and our creators, and just make sure that we're still getting as many really awesome people through the door as possible. Another thing that I do regularly is keep an eye on the inventory, and also plan out the products that we want to bring out in the future. I also look at our finances to make sure that we're doing organizational things like paying our taxes, just keeping our books, so that when we look back, we can see, the decisions that were made and how they impacted the organization moving forward. And so kind of analyzing where we came from and where we're going from a financial standpoint. And then special projects all the time. I mean, this podcast to me is kind of a special project. And other special projects include, we're doing this bag design contest. I mean, we're always doing giveaways, and a lot of what my role is coming up with these tasks and operations that I want to get completed, building the blueprint for how to get those completed, and then delegating that blueprint and that plan to other team members to basically multiply our impact. And so, for example, our giveaways, I was really hands-on for the first couple, and now I would like to have our other team members being more hands-on on running the giveaways so that I don't have to do that on a daily basis. And that's really what my job is having goals and then coming up with plans to try to accomplish them while taking as little time away from my day so that I can think of more things and just like continue to build. Okay. What did you want to become when you were young? So I think it first started out as a professional snowboarder. That was like when I was 7 years old. I was really hoping to become a professional snowboarder. Definitely wanted to become then professional skateboarder. I also had some dreams to become a professional soccer player. And like I early in on high school, that was kind of when I was making my decisions of like, do I go and play for a really elite team and take my skills to the next level and play with competition that's like far greater than anything I've experienced? And if I had gone that route and played with a club, then I probably would have played in college, and then who knows thereafter, probably not gone pro because I wasn't that great. But I was definitely thinking in the realm of like dreaming big. And so another thing was like I wanted to become like a rock star, have my own band or something like that. But then in high school, I started to get a little bit like more career oriented. And the three options that I was really thinking about were becoming a lawyer, becoming an engineer, or becoming a businessman. And I chose business because I thought that business was the way that I could make the greatest impact in the shortest amount of time. Whether that's true or not, it's definitely debatable, but that was my reasoning to go to business school. All right, if you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be? I would have to say, that's a good question. One thing, what would it be? I mean, I think right now it would be cool if Pure World were something to be remembered by. And if people looking backwards in time saw Pure World as a legacy and they were able to, like, when you think of Pure World, you think of these values, these core beliefs that are the intersection of pure, which is like organic and true to nature and like handmade and just like pure, and then world, where it's like cultural exchange and openness and friendships and just like, nature and truly appreciating the environment around you. I think those are two huge core concepts that are true to me. And so to be remembered for that, I think would be really nice. Okay, most important lesson you've learned on the job or starting a brand. The most important lesson I think I've learned from running a brand is probably that you cannot do it all yourself, and that building a team and outsourcing or insourcing, like having other people do the things that you want to get done so that you can free your time up to do more. And I talked about that a little bit earlier too, but I really do think that that's something that I learned. What's the biggest challenge you're facing in building a brand? The biggest challenge that I'm facing right now is how to sustainably scale profitably. And so what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to quadruple our revenue while simultaneously quadrupling or even more our profits. I mean, I would love to 10 times our profits while quadrupling our revenues. And that gets into some deep thinking about how that's possible. But really, I think the challenge is like building out these revenue channels to be more profitable, and then add more revenue channels so that we're making money from a bunch of different avenues. In your opinion, what is the most important personality trait or strength that someone would need in starting a brand. I think patience is like one of the biggest traits, because if you are trying to start a brand and you're expecting to reach success in the first year, I mean, likelihood it's not going to happen. If you're expecting success in the first 3 months, it's probably not going to happen. You're going to get burnt out. So it's really about patience and stamina and the ability to keep going and keep driving at that goal while still staying afloat personally and financially. And so, like, if you have to pick up a job on the side or something to continue doing what you love and building your passion project, I would recommend that. And so I think patience and stamina is essential for building a brand. What's your favorite productivity hack for entrepreneurs? Okay, I've been talking about this like this entire episode, but really having a team and being able to outsource tasks, especially the tasks that are maybe mundane or you think, are things that someone else could do. And basically what that does is it opens up the door for you to work on tasks that maybe are more difficult to find someone to do. And that means like it could be like based on skill level, right? So if you are the best photographer ever and you can't find somebody to take better photos than you, then do the photos and then get somebody else to manage your social media presence or the posting of the photos. But like you can get someone else to post the photos, but you can't get somebody to create and take the photos as good as yourself. So acknowledging your strengths and then getting other people to basically complete the tasks that you're weaker on or that are not as reliant on you being the one doing them. Why is it important to travel? Well, traveling literally opens up your mind to different cultures and different ways of living, and people live in different styles all over the world. And so by opening your mind to these other possibilities, you are opening your heart to acceptance. And I think if you don't expose yourself to different cultures and different ways of living, then when you do come across something that's radically different than yourself, you might not know how to react, or you might not know, you might not have practiced this practice of accepting new and different things. And so by traveling, you're exposing yourself to new things, and sometimes they're uncomfortable situations. And by exposing yourself to those situations, you become more accepting of those situations, and therefore just become a more accepting person altogether. What's your favorite travel destinations? I would have to say Puerto Escondido, Mexico. That's in the Oaxaca region. It's on the West Coast. It's beautiful, really, really cool. Japan. So I would say, Tokyo is so cool. There's a lot of really cool places in Japan. I can't even list them all. I can barely pronounce them, but anyways. And then my third pick would have to be Mont Saint-Michel in France, which is this crazy castle that when the tides come up, it surrounds the castle. So it's like a castle. It's like an island with a castle on it. It's just a castle island. It's really, really cool. I would recommend it. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? I'm kind of interested in Austin, Texas. I think there's a lot happening there, whether it's South by Southwest or the tech scene. The comedy scene is really up and coming. The podcasting scene. I was joking to my friend the other day that I think Austin, Texas is going to become the podcast capital of the world. And I think that's facts. So I think if I were to pick somewhere to uproot and move to, would probably be Austin, Texas, and I'd hope to find some spot by some water, like a lake or something like that. What do you think the world will look like in 5 years? That's a really deep question. I'm super optimistic, so I will say that it's only going to become better. I think this is all reliant on like who becomes president of the United States. but honestly, that doesn't really matter that much. I think that we're going to have a lot more technical innovation. I think that AI will probably be really, really powerful, and people will be using AI to supplement their work on a daily basis. And I think that's going to be really great for humanity, honestly, because like it's going to continue our productivity, but it's going to reduce our like personal stress, because we're going to have this new tool that is going to, I think, be really, really useful and helpful in a lot of different capacities. I think that in the next 5 years, America's relationship with Mexico will become much greater. And 5 years is a little bit of a short timeline, but I've been listening to people say, like, just like podcasts where they're saying that like America's greatest trading ally and labor ally will become Mexico as we shift away from our reliance on China. And so I think that's a really interesting take. And so, yeah, I'd love to see like America become more united and more bonded with Mexico, because I think there's a lot of great opportunity there. I think that we're also going to see manufacturing moving away from China, and not only to Mexico, but also to the United States. And so I would hope that the United States is building out our industry and using our technical advantage, like AI and robotics and stuff like that. I think robotics is a really interesting other advancement that we'll probably see in about 5 years. And I think anything from a restaurant that has robotic chefs to make the pizzas, which you can already see in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It's like an MIT style restaurant, and anything from robots like that to robots that can help you in the grocery store better, or and we're already seeing robots in the grocery store taking inventory and being able to like help people. But I think that idea is going to go much farther. And then we also have this concept of Internet of Things, and what that is taking the internet connectivity and putting it into devices, so that the internet, you can control devices remotely. And so we're already seeing it with like our refrigerator. Like you can buy a high-tech refrigerator where you use your phone to see a camera inside your refrigerator to see if you have, like enough butter or enough milk, or while you're at the grocery store, like, oh no, I didn't check to see how many onions we have. You can look inside your refrigerator. And I think that model is going to be applied all different other spaces. And we're already seeing it get applied to like thermostats and doorknob cameras and stuff like that. But I think like a microwave or a toaster oven, and light bulbs are my favorite. I personally have light bulbs. Like these back here are controlled from an app. So I think that'll be an interesting take. Anyways, I'm ranting on this, but a lot of cool things I think are going to happen in 5 years, and I'm staying optimistic about it for sure. What's a book you recommend? The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. This book is what really taught me about outsourcing and delegating your work to free up your own time for things that you enjoy more. And it also taught me about just like business in general and lifestyle in general. One of my favorite lessons from the 4-Hour Workweek is about the difference between retirement and like taking a mini retirement. Or one thing that I learned from the book is that retirements aren't always the best end goal. So retirement means that in our everyday language, people think of retirement as the time for you to just stop working in general and stop being productive. And in my opinion, I think I never want to stop. I just want to maybe slow down or shift gears, And so you can keep yourself energized by taking these mini retirements where maybe like after a year or two of working, you take a 3 to 6 month sabbatical and you take time off and you go learn how to salsa in Argentina or something like that. And you just shift your gears a little bit, and it keeps your mind fresh and it keeps you rejuvenated so that you can continue to be a productive member of the world. What are 3 other podcasts you'd recommend to my audience and why? All right, podcasts. Joe Rogan Experience, my favorite podcast for sure. There is another, Gary V. The Gary V Experience. I listen to him all the time, and also How I Built This. Okay, so for those 3 podcasts, the Joe Rogan Experience is really interesting because Joe Rogan is a super multifaceted person. He's a comedian. He's also in the MMA fighting world, and just like a general like outdoor enthusiast. And I think as having like a masculine role model, he's actually a really great role model. The Gary V Experience is all about digital marketing, and so I get that going as I'm on my way home from the gym, starting to gear up for the workday. And then How I Built This is an NPR podcast by Guy Raz, and basically that takes you through the origin stories of really awesome companies, and so it's super inspirational to hear how crazy companies like Dell Computers got started, and the stories are like from people working in their garages. They're always like working in their garage or their basements, and then they go and they build this massive company, and that is inspirational to me because it shows me that what I'm going through and building my business is not unlike the other people who have been trying to build their businesses, and that just, it's going to be hard times, but if you persevere, I mean, as long as you are working hard, I think that greatness will happen. Greatness is inevitable. What's one question you'd wished I asked you, and how would you have answered? I wish you asked me the question about my college experience, because my college experience was really interesting. I went to Babson College, and it was a super international school with a lot of really, really wealthy students, and I was probably one of the least wealthy. I went to a public high school in a really, really small city in Massachusetts, and I got to meet people and interact with people who were from a complete different class of society, from all over the world too. And so that really opened my eyes up to the potential of, becoming wealthy and what that means. And then I also learned that it's possible to take your dreams and turn them into a reality using just a little bit of elbow grease and work. And so it was really formative for me, for sure. What's your favorite Pure World bag? Yellowstone. I remember sitting in my room at like 1 a.m. and Michaela was there, and we were designing bags, and we designed the Yellowstone bag, and it was a hit. And it was, I remember just like really hand designing that thing, and then seeing the success was like, it was a great feeling, because it's just an example of like, trust your gut and design the thing that you want. And if you just trust yourself, people will follow. Where can people get to know you or see more of you? You can follow me on Instagram at Jack Flynn. That's Jack Flynn with 1 N. You can also follow my new Instagram account called Digital Sunflower. So go connect with me there. You can also check us out on YouTube at, if you're not watching this already on YouTube, it's the Pure World TV, Pure World Podcast. I interview a lot of really awesome people. So, thanks for listening or watching, and have a great day.